Have you ever heard of a children's rights movement? We have so many rights movements, don't we? Women's rights, men's rights, ethnic group rights. Every different ethnic group has their rights. Animal rights, but no children's rights. Even in light of the fact that every single problem on this entire planet is a result of child abuse. From crime to sexual abuse to war to pollution to the hole in the ozone, everything. Every single problem that we have on this planet is a result of child abuse. Because every single problem that we have on this planet is a man-made problem. All these problems are caused by people who had miserable, unhappy childhoods. But no children's rights, huh? You want to know why there's no children's rights movements? I'll give you a few reasons. For one, children can't get out and march for themselves, can they? They can't start a nonprofit or have a march or have a protest or start a letter writing campaign or whatever. They can't do those things. They need someone to speak for them. And people who do these rights movements, they really only care about themselves and what they want. They don't think about the children, even their own children. Or if they do think about children, they think about only their own children, and they don't think about other people's children, how it all is tied together. And the funny thing is, animals can't speak for themselves either. And yet we got animal rights groups out the ass, but none for the children. Nothing for the children. I'll give you another reason why there's no children's rights groups. Because children's rights are not and will not ever be promoted in the media. And most of these people who do all this protesting and rights stuff are just influenced by what the media tells them to be outraged about. If there's not some kind of social currency in it, they're not going to be into it. It's just that simple. And the reason why the media will never, ever promote children's rights is because children's rights is a unifying issue. All children deserve a good childhood. All children deserve the respect of their parents and every other adult. This is not an issue that you can use to divide and conquer, and that's what the media is all about. This group versus that group versus this group versus that group, and then you break them down into even smaller groups. If one group gets too big, you got to create some new factions out of that group and have those people argue with each other. Children's rights does the exact opposite. It brings everyone together because everyone's child is deserving of basic human rights. And the media is all about divide and conquer and creating conflict. That's why you will never see children's rights promoted in the media, in religion, or in the government. Because all those three are the same. They're one and the same. You believe that there's separation of church and state? Joke's on you. They are all one and the same. Let's talk about children's rights for a minute. Where are the protests for the foster care system? Oh, I know it's broken. The foster care system is broken. That's what people like to tell themselves. That these government agencies that abuse children and traffic children, they just don't work right. It's bureaucracy, or they're not getting enough money. They're not getting enough funding. They can never admit that these bureaucracies and these agencies are working exactly the way that they were intended to. As you can clearly see from my last video about what happened in Berlin, all the child protection agencies were in on that pedophile ring. They were all part of it, and that happens in every country. Every country. Where are the protests in front of the Catholic Church? What more does the Catholic Church need to do to show you that they are here to abuse children? How many billions of dollars have they pumped in to dealing with their lawsuits from all the children that they molested? And what do they do when the priests get caught molesting? Do they remove their priesthood? No. They move them to somewhere in the third world where they can molest brown and black babies without getting caught because there's no oversight there. What more does this institution need to do to show you that they are fully invested in abusing children? And that they're willing to pump billions of dollars into protecting their pedophiles? Where are the protests? Nobody's protesting. I don't see anybody protesting in front of the Catholic Church. Do you really think it's okay for corporations to market poisonous products to children? Poisonous foods and cereals. Oh, you want to go get a McHappy Meal for your kid? You want to feed your kid poison with no nutritional value and get him hooked on fast food at a young age? That's what fast food is. It's like a drug. You trick your taste buds into thinking that you're getting something of value. You think it's okay to market that poison to children? To market them candy cereals filled with sugar so you can make them obese and sick? You think it's okay to market pornography and violence to children? You think it's okay to indoctrinate children into being soldiers, cannon fodder? Because that's what all your cartoons and TV shows do. Take a good look at those cartoons and TV shows that you give your children to put into their brains. Take a real good look at what they're telling your children. A couple years back, I wrote something called the Children's Bill of Rights. I will be reintroducing that to my channel very soon. But you wouldn't believe the amount of anger and outrage I got for writing the Children's Bill of Rights. People were truly angry with me for suggesting that children have rights. Isn't that sad? You know what they told me? Rights only come from the barrel of a gun. Well, I guess children don't get any rights because they can't hold a gun. Make no mistake, children's rights is a dangerous concept. If we started valuing children above all else, instead of whining like little babies about how our rights are infringed, our little group, our little in-group, our little ethnic group, our little sexual group, that has the potential to cause some real problems in society. And actually, that's how I got shadow banned from Reddit the first time, for talking about children's rights. I'm not joking. I got insta-banned from half the places on the internet for trying to post the Children's Bill of Rights. Now, when I post it on my channel, maybe some of you can read it and explain to me what was so outrageous about what I said in the Children's Bill of Rights, which is really just common sense. The thing that is outrageous about it is that it hurts people's feelings because it shows them how corrupt they are and how willing they are to trample the rights of children and how willing they are to go along with the establishment that is built on exploiting children and poisoning them and bombing them and indoctrinating them and feeding them garbage foods and feeding them garbage philosophies and putting a gun in their hand and teaching them that violence solves every problem. Boy, children's rights sure would cause a lot of problem for a lot of very profitable industries, wouldn't it? But you know what? Fuck those industries.